What up, you enormous egg enthusiasts? It's Christina here, bringing you another Arknights beginner guide. Okay guys, so this is going to be the third part of the Arknights beginner guide. Today we're going to be looking at the operator page. We're going to be building a unit from E0 to E2. And we're also going to be talking about some really efficient ways to farm stages, to build your operators, and I'm going to showing you guys a few different resources to better do that. Now we're going to click on the operator tab, and there is a lot going on here, lots of awesome characters to show, but if you want to filter or organize your characters more easily, you can use these top tabs. So here are the basic ones. You can even further filter them by class if you click on that top right part. So I'm going to go by sniper and rarity for now. So here we are, where it's my highest rarity snipers and then my lowest rarity snipers as we go down the line. Today we're going to talk about Schwartz for a little bit, and then we're going to move on to the character building portion. So right here, this is a 6-star operator named Schwartz. She is a sniper. She's a notorious boss killer. She does a ton of damage. She's super fun to use. I love this character. We're going to be going over this operator page, and I know there's a lot of information here. We're going to start top right and go downwards. So at the very top right, we have the character level. Now, the character level, the only way to level up your characters is through these things called XP tickets or battle records. There are 4 types of battle records. There are the gold ones that give you 2,000. There are the yellow ones that give you 1,000. The blue ones that give you 400, and the green ones that give you 200. Now, these are the only ways to upgrade them. You can get them in a variety of different ways, including different stages. There are specific farm maps to farm XP tickets, and you can also get them from events and things like that. So, and then the last way you can get them, which I think is the most efficient way, is to get them through your base and the factories. And I'll be talking about base efficiency and how to get a bunch of different materials from your base in the base building guide later on in a different video. Now, real quickly, I see this a lot when I watch streams and people playing this game. You don't have to click them. You can just click and hold, and that's how you get to the max of 40. So this way, you don't break your mouse or anything like that. You don't have sore fingertips or anything. That's just the easiest way to go about it. Now, besides that, we're going to move on to the promotion tab. Now, you may hear people say, oh, Elite 2 this unit, Elite 1 this unit, oh, what elite level is this character? That has to do with promotion, and if someone says E, it stands for Elite. Now, there are 3 Elite levels. There's E0, and I'll show you right now. There's E0, which is indicated by this symbol right here that is emptied out in black. There is Elite 1, which is the same symbol, but filled out in white. And then there's Elite 2, which is 2 of that symbol interwoven together. Elite 2 is the current max in the game. I don't think there'll ever be an Elite 3, but who knows. Basically, when you promote a unit, you unlock a variety of different things, and depending on the characters, you can unlock some really awesome new abilities. For example, when you Elite 2 a 6-star, you get unlock their 3rd ability. 6-stars are the only characters that have 3rd abilities. You also unlock a 2nd talent. Now, there are some characters in the game that are 5-stars that have a 2nd talent, but every single 6-star does have 2 talents or a 2nd talent. Other than that, it will just basically increase their deployment and give them new and improved abilities, which is very nice. This will help them scale better into the late game, the end game content, and it will unlock skill improvements as well, and I'll get into that in a second. Next up, we have potentials. Potentials are tied to duplicates, so when you get a duplicate character, you get these tokens, and these tokens can be used to upgrade various aspects of the character. Every character starts at potential 1 and moves all the way up to potential 6. Now, not every single character's potential is going to be laid out like this. Some characters have different things that they'll get. Some of them have 2 talent upgrades. Some of the defender characters will most likely have defense here as their stat, deployment cost, redeployment time, all that good stuff. Now, I don't recommend fishing or farming, pulling for potentials unless it's a character you really, really, really like. Potentials in this game don't nearly matter as much as operator or unique operators. I would much rather have new characters than max potential characters, max potential 6 stars. So keep that in mind when you're deciding to pull and all that good stuff. After this, we have the skills. Now, 4-star characters have 2 skills. Every other 4 or 5-star characters have 2 skills. 6-star characters have 3 skills, and every other character just has 1. And you get them as you elite. So 4, 5, and 6 stars, they're only going to have 1 skill until you E1 them. Once you E1 them, they'll unlock their 2nd, and then you E2, 6 stars unlock their 3rd. And these skills are all tied to skill rank. Now, skill rank, it's an upgrade. It goes from 1 to 7, and as you upgrade the skill rank, it upgrades all 3, or in this case 3, skills simultaneously. So you don't have to focus on individual skills with your skill rank, which is really nice. So when you're E0, the max skill rank you can go to is 4, and then when you're Elite 1, the max skill rank you can go to is 7. Once you Elite 2 a character, you unlock something called Masteries, and that is indicated by these triangle circles, these circles in a triangle on each of the skills. For example, 6-star characters, the maximum built a 6-star can be is M9, meaning Mastery 9. Now, each of these circles represent 1 mastery. So my Schwartz is skill 3 M3'd or S3 M3'd, meaning her 3rd skill has 3 masteries. Some other examples, I could take off Sniper and go to my Surtur. She is M6'd, meaning she has 3 masteries here and 3 masteries here. She has 6 total masteries, and my Bagpipe is M9, meaning she has 9 total masteries. Now, I definitely do not recommend that you build a character that much. It is extremely, extremely high of an investment to Mastery 3 a character, but Mastery 3 on certain characters is very, very important. It'll help you a lot in the long run with endgame content. As a beginner player, you won't have to worry about this now. I'm going to make a Mastery video later on in the future. Next up, we have traits. Now, traits are usually just tied to the class or subclass of a character. There are tons of different subclasses based off of these archetypes here. I'm going to be making a full-on guide for each, or rundown of each individual archetype, and talk about all the sub-archetypes within them and the operators. So stay tuned for that one. That's going to be pretty awesome. I'm definitely going to start with Vanguard or Sniper because those are my 2 favorite classes. But these basically are just tied to the classes of the character. Now, talents, on the other hand, are more individualized per character. Now, if we click on the talent, you can see that Schwartz, as a 6-star, she has 2 talents. Once I Elite Tutor, she unlocked Crossfire, which is a global sniper buff by 8% attack. And she has a set percent chance to reduce the enemy's target defense by a certain amount for 5 seconds, which is pretty nice. This helps her with defeat very tanky, high defense enemies, and also just increases overall DPS, which is really cool. Now, onto the left side. The left side is a bit different. Okay, on to the left side now. I know that was quite a bit of information, but try to get through this fast. We have first the faction that the character is from, the sub-faction. Then we have the stats. You can click anywhere on the stats area to expand them and see everything that there is. Next is trust. Trust is on a meter from 0% to 200%. You'll always get a character at 0% trust, and you essentially want to farm them to 100%. Now, the reason why 100% is the sweet spot is because that will give your character a certain stat buff, depending on which character you are using. Everything past 100% is lore specific. Everything is lore specific, so you don't really have to farm to 200% trust unless you care about the lore, and I'll show you that in a second. Below the trust after this is the rarity, the name of the character, the class, the character's basic attack range, and a few tags that describe them. Now, where do you find the lore? A quick way to find the lore besides using the archives on the home screen is to click this network tab. Here you'll be brought to this network page that I showed before in the first introduction video. You can click the magnifying glass and scroll out or zoom out to get a better look at the art of the character. If you're on PC, you can hit Control and mouse wheel, and that's how you zoom in and out. And if you're on mobile, just use your fingers to pull in and out like normal. You have the artist and the voice actor/actress, as well as the archive files and the information. This is where you would check all of the character's lore and basic information. These archive files, these are what you unlock as you gain trust with the character. This is the lore related stuff. After this, you have the voice lines. All of the voice lines of the character speaks in the entire game, which is really awesome. And you can click on them. I'll do the title. Perfect. And you can listen to those anytime you want, which is really sweet. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're going to get into building our operator. So I'm going to filter at the top right. I'm going to go by descending level and caster to find this adorable little washing machine named Mint. She is a welfare operator, 5-star that you get from the Surtur event. She is a very different type of caster, but she's super cool, super fun to use, and cannot wait to build her. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is, since she's a welfare operator, you can buy her tokens from the shop. So I'm going to upgrade her potential to max. With each potential, I will get a new improvement all the way up to the second DP cost down. And now she is max potential, which is awesome. So now we have this glorious looking star right here. The next thing we're going to want to do is to level her skill rank up. Now, if you are a new player, you're probably going to do either level or skill rank interchangeably, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to do skill rank first. Now, we're going to start. The first skill rank is always these white books. Second is sugar for her, and we're going to get to 4. Now, as you can see right here, we are gated to go to the next skill rank. So we have to Elite 1 her to get to the next skill rank. So let's do that right now. We're gonna level her up. I'm gonna try to use my cheaper tickets right now and save my more expensive tickets for when we Elite 1 her. And we want to Elite 2 her. So we're gonna bring her up to E1 max. I'll do about 40 of these. And I like to, if I hit max, I like to go down and see it as, if I can get as many greens as I can in here to maximize efficiency there. It's only a little bit of XP, but it does add up. Now that she's E1 max, E0 max rather, we can unlock the promotion ability. Now for this, I have already farmed all the necessary materials for her. But if you don't have these materials, there is a bunch of different ways. There are a bunch of different ways you can find them. Now, for chips, there are specific chip stages that are open, and I can go to that now. So we'll go to combat, chips, and the chips are only open for certain days of the week. So you really want to try to plan ahead. I like to farm chips as the first thing that I do because I find it the most annoying by far. So we'll go back to operators, to Mint. Now that she is a bit higher level, she's going to be a little harder to find. But here she is. And we're going to look at promotion again. Now these other two things, if you want and you don't have the necessary materials, you can click onto the icon here and drag down, and you can find a variety of different maps that you can farm this material on. I like to go for guaranteed, but if you're not too sure on what you want to do, here is a perfect resource for you. It is called penguinstats.io, and I would like to go by stage or item. In this case, I'm going to do item, and the item we're looking for is this polyketon right here. I'm going to pull this up later on as well, but basically you want to look at sanity required per item, and that is your best indicator. The other good indicators are percentage, chance, and sanity. So 3-7 has the lowest, or one of the lowest sanities per item, and it also has above 100%. So that way it's a guaranteed item. It only costs 15, and it is very cheap to get. So if I was going to find Polykedon, I would farm it on 3-7. So we're going to hit promote. And we get this nice little animation, just like how we, when we first hired the operator. There's Mint. You're going to hear a voice line. I have it muted right now. And then see on the right, we unlocked the second ability. Let's check out the second ability. Every attack drags the target to Mint slightly, dealing a % of attack as arts damage. So she's a caster, so she does arts damage. And then she does a bit of a burst at the end of the skill. Now we have the ability to upgrade her skill even more. So let's see if we can get her to skill 7. And we get her to skill 7 now. So she is max skill. The only way we can upgrade her skill now is by mastering it after Elite 2. And now we're going to try to get her to Elite 2. If you're curious on the materials that you need, there are a few ways to go about doing this. Now, I don't normally do this for Elite 1 because these materials are pretty easy to get, but I always like to do it for Elite 2. I'm going to bring you to a second resource. This is on gamepress.gg, and it is the operator planner. For all of these resources, like every video, I'm going to have them in the description below. So we're going to go to the planner right here. We're going to scroll down and we're going to find the character once it loads. So we have a 5-star character, Mint. Here she is right here. And we're going to be brought to this screen. I'm going to zoom in just so it's a little bit easier to see. So we have this lovely portrait right here, the start promotion level and the target promotion. I'm going to change this to Elite 1 because that's what she's at. And my target is going to be Elite 2. Now it shows the materials that we are going to need. It says we need 3 of these caster dual chips, 9 of these incandescent alloy blocks, and this is the materials, the sub-materials to create this, and we need 14 rock clusters, or RI rock clusters. We also need a set amount of XP and LMD. E2ing characters is a huge cost investment for XP and LMD. I know for 6 stars, it takes about 350,000 XP from E0 to E2, and it takes about 600,000 LMD to upgrade as well. So you're not going to do it immediately all the time, but that is something you want to keep in mind when saving for resources. Now, you may notice that each of these materials have different circles around them and different colors. That is the tier of material. So you'll hear people reference like tier 3, tier 2, tier 4 materials. There is a gray tier right here. That is tier 1. Green is tier 2. Blue is tier 3. Purple is tier 4, and gold is tier 5. So we only need a tier 4 and some tier 3 mats. And now we're gonna get back, or look back down here, and you're gonna ask yourself, okay, do I need to farm these things or should I farm sub parts? Now, if you see right here, there are 2 things. This first is the add current inventory. You can do that if you'd like. It might save you a bit of time so you don't have to do the calculations yourself, but I already know what I have for this, so I'm not going to do it now. Instead, I'm going to go to the recommended farming pattern. There are 2 different ways. There's for speed and for value. The value is only 100 more sanity. I almost always farm for value over anything. And for the, it's going to have you bust out these rocks first, and you're going to need 70 of these smaller rocks to create the 14 larger rocks. So you'd basically, when you're building our operator, I would click value, and you just slowly go down each of these things however much you want. I like to do chips first, chips and shop vouchers first, but this will recommend differently. It really is up to your preference, but like it's saying to do 717, 715, and so on. If you don't have access to these stages, I highly doubt any new player is going to be at chapter 7 already. So instead, what you can do is you can go back to penguinstats.io like we were before, and it's gonna say, okay, the first thing I need is grindstone. The first thing I need is grindstone. Now, where can I find grindstone? I'm gonna farm by item. I'm gonna go to grindstone, and there are a couple different options. Now, grindstone's a bit tricky because the best, quote unquote, best stage is 4.8, which has a 60 sanity cost per item, compared to 3.3, which is a 46 sanity cost per item. Granted, it is only a 2% difference, but within that 2%, you get access to a different item. So I'm gonna click on 4.8. And one of the reasons why you'd farm 4.8 is because certain stages, especially in Chapter 4, they give you the ability to potentially drop a Tier 4 material. So you could get grindstone pentahydrates. The only way to get it is from 4.8, 7.17, or by building it yourself. Now, I like to farm 4.8 because the grindstone pentahydrate drop is so sweet when you finally get it. But it's all up to you. If you want to save a little bit more sanity, then you could run something like 3.3 instead. But definitely check out Penguin Stats, see what you like or what stages looks the best for you, and you can use those. I personally do 4.8. I think 3.3 is okay. So we checked for grindstone. You can do the same thing with devices, the same thing with these incandescent blocks. And if you're really strapped for these materials, then you can go into the search shop, like I talked about in the previous video, and you can buy the tier 3 materials there. Like I would, out of these 3, I would most likely buy these devices because devices are a bitch. And now after this, you farm all your materials. You have your operator E2 ready. I currently don't, but you get all of your materials ready. What can you do to build them? Now I'll show you. You can go into your base, and you're gonna need to upgrade your workshop to a certain tier to get to these certain items. For example, my workshop is level 3, but I'm going to make 2. So you'll click here, click upgrade materials, and I'm gonna go to incandescent alloy blocks. I need 2 of these alloy blocks. So I'll move up to 2. It'll show the morale cost, the LMD cost, and I'm using a character that has elite material byproduct rate up. You don't want to use something like skill summaries or building material. You want to do elite material when you do these, because when you do get a byproduct, it feels really good. And it's better for efficiency's sake. So let's see if I get a byproduct. I do not, but I get my incandescent alloy blocks, which is awesome. And now it's time to level up my character to max. Now, since she is a 5-star character, her max is going to be at 70. So let's try to get her to 70. So with 40 golds, we already get her to 50, but as you can see, the value keeps going down. The XP level gets really, really steep. So we'll get her to 70 right here. I'll use the green ones now for value. So she's now maxed, and we can elite 2 her. Or can we? We need these, what are these? Dual chips. Where you can't farm dual chips, it only is in the factory. Weird. Now this is where those red certs come in, guys, that we were talking about before. This is where the red certs come in. You're gonna go to certificates if you don't have these, shop vouchers, and you're gonna buy chip catalysts. Every dual chip that you need requires 1 chip catalyst. So every single chip pack that you need, I think I might have spent my drones already, but that's okay. I'll just transfer over. Every single dual or chip pack that you farm on the tier 2 chip stages requires 1 chip catalyst. So for 6 chip packs, you will need 3 chip catalysts. So let's build 3 of them. She's a caster, so I'll hit confirm, and then we're going to try to boost it as fast as we can. And I'll be back in just a second when my drones recharge. So I charged my drones up, and I'm going to expedite this process. You can hit this dual arrow on the side, hit max and confirm. It'll make sure you don't waste any of these things. I'm going to collect my dual chips, and then I'm going to go back to the pure gold that I had before. So we have everything that we need at this point in time. Okay, we went over where to farm, materials. I showed you how to convert dual chips or into dual chips. We talked about the skill ranks. Now let's upgrade this character. I'll turn the volume on just so you can hear the lovely voice line, and I'll hear it myself. So we get this lovely voice line, this awesome art, and our character is now Elite 2. I like to level up my characters a little bit after Elite 2, so I like to bring them to like 20 as soon as I Elite 2 them. So we'll do that. I'll bring them up to 20, and there we go. Now, once you finally Elite 2 a character, I know a lot of people like to do this. I'm gonna do the sorry bagpipe. I'll switch you back later, but we will take our mint and we'll put her on our home screen. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can really appreciate this lovely, lovely art that we have. And there we go. So hopefully that was a bit, I know that's a lot of information, but hopefully that was a bit helpful for you guys. Bring a character all the way from E0, level 1 to Elite 2. At some point later in the future, I'm going to be bringing this character to Mastery, or I might be bringing a different character to Mastery. But this is, in my opinion, the most consistent way to level characters. I know that I pre-farmed a lot of this stuff, but if you use the operator planning guide, use penguinstats.io, you should be able to farm these characters to Elite 2 in about a week or so. That's usually how long it takes. There are some characters like 6 stars who will take multiple weeks to Elite 2, but it all depends on how far you are, what stages you've gotten to, etc. Now, in terms of stages, I know some of you guys are new, but I highly, highly, highly recommend you get to Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is where you will find a lot of the best efficiency stages. Like RMA, manganese is okay. There's 3-2 is also good for manganese. We talked about grindstone already. In terms of rocks, you can farm this stage, but 1-7 is almost infinitely better. A Keaton is really nice in Chapter 4. A lot of these stages have good percentage drop values that you can farm. Now, not every single one of them is the best. You want to double check your stats with Penguin Stats, but for the most part, Chapter 4 is a great farming chapter. Other than that, guys, I'll talk a bit about trust for just a second. So you see my character is 23% trust. Now, how do I improve their trust to get them to 100% trust? There are multiple different ways to do that. The first way, and probably the most consistent way, is to go to your base. Now, you'd go to your base, you would go to the control center, and you'd hit base assistant. Now, you can change your base assistant at any time. I'm going to trade out April right now for mint because I just E2'd her, so I want her to be to 100 trust as fast as possible. So the recent characters that I've just gotten are these 5, and this is the best way to get them to increase trust. You combine this method with using them on stages. Using them on stages is another great way to increase their trust. You'll see some people do trust farming. You guys don't have to worry about that as new players. Just focus on the characters you like, getting them to at least 100% trust. Just use them. Put them in your base assistant, as your base assistant in the base, and just use them in the stages. That's just how you're going to go about that. Now, that's it for the operator building guide for now. I'll be touching on masteries and some stuff about that later. The next video, I think, is going to be about squad composition, character choices, and also going over different archetypes and different classes for operators. Now, if you really like the video, definitely let me know in the comments just anything I can improve on, any questions that you have. I know I'm still pretty new to this, so we're just working with it. Thank you all the people in my stream who helped me organize and lay out this operator guide. Hopefully it wasn't too long. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I see you in the next one, and peace out.
Hey, yo.